Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the Darth Vader comic series that goes into the hunt for JOCASTA Nu. Now, as a quick background, JOCASTA Nu was the Jedi librarian that told Obi-Wan if something doesn't exist in the archives, it just doesn't exist. But before we begin, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. At that time, JOCASTA Nu had returned to Coruscant and sneaked into the former Jedi temple to search for a list of young Force sensitives in her secret archives. As she roamed the ruins, her droid, B2, informed her that her ship was about to be discovered. She informed the droid that she would adjust her plans accordingly. As Coruscant security forces came into the hangar, B2 detonated Nu's ship and killed the 3 security officers. As JOCASTA Nu made for a secret archive vault, she noticed the Grand Inquisitor reading through the Jedi knowledge. She continued, only focusing on the mission. Vader was contacted by an Imperial Security Bureau major who had discovered a Jedi insignia at the wreckage of Nu's ship, and he went to the Imperial Security Bureau headquarters to check it out. When Vader arrived, the major asked what rank he should address him by, and Vader said, "Lord." The major explained to Vader their suspicions that the explosion was premature and the Jedi insignia was merely rabble-rousing graffiti, used as a calling card. Vader told him he was wrong, and as the major explained his experience in intelligence, Vader used the Force to reconstruct Nu's ship, showing the major that he was indeed wrong about the cause of the explosion. Vader then ordered him to search every level of Coruscant, steering clear of the Jedi Temple. Meanwhile, JOCASTA Nu was about to vacate the temple when she noticed the Grand Inquisitor insulting the Jedi knowledge he was examining. His comments eventually drove her over the edge, and she confronted him with her lightsaber. Vader arrived at the temple entrance, and Clone Commander Fox already had sealed the place. When Fox asked him what they were expecting to happen, and Vader told him that they had missed a Jedi during Order 66. As Vader entered the temple, Nu was pinning down the Grand Inquisitor with her lightsaber and threatening him. The Grand Inquisitor asked how she did not remember who he was, stating the times she had denied him the Jedi knowledge he sought. JOCASTA attacked him, kicking off a short duel where the Grand Inquisitor quickly outwitted her. The Grand Inquisitor would have killed JOCASTA Nu, if not for Vader's arrival. As Vader stopped the Grand Inquisitor from slaying the Jedi, Nu used the Force to rain Jedi books on them, and she fled the scene. Vader made chase as he followed Nu's trail. She made it to the archive vault and used a terminal to purge the entire library of its knowledge. As Vader entered the vault, he was confronted by the droid guard, Kator. He identified Vader as Anakin Skywalker and told him he was not authorized to be there. Vader threw his lightsaber at the droid, but being a guard against possible Force-sensitive threats meant the droid was ready for that move, and it caught Vader's weapon. Vader then punched Kator's arm off, and the droid caught his wrist and squeezed it with his robotic hand. Vader drove his fist through Kator's face before the droid could damage him anymore. But as Kator dropped to the floor, Vader noticed a powerful shot being fired at him and used his lightsaber to deflect it. The shot, fired by JOCASTA Nu using a lightsaber rifle, knocked Vader back as it ripped through a bookcase. Nu stood at the entrance of the vault, confronting Vader. As Vader got up again, he tried to convince Nu to drop her weapon. She ignored him and fired again. Vader dodged her shot, and she fired for a third time, further devastating the vault. As she continued firing, she tried to convince Vader that he was just a tool of the Emperor, saying that he could never get rid of the light side of the Force, as it always found its vessels. JOCASTA Nu's rifle then failed to keep firing, and Vader deactivated his lightsaber, telling her she would not be harmed. JOCASTA Nu's rifle then began beeping as she threw it towards Vader. He used the Force to push it away, and it exploded, throwing both of them to the floor and breaching the side of the temple. Nu fled through the fresh hole in the wall to find newly alerted clone troopers around the perimeter. They fired at her as she jumped down, deflecting their shots back at them. As the clones put more pressure on her, she force-pushed them over the ledge behind them. Vader then appeared through the wall, and the clones assumed he too was a Jedi and fired on him. At that moment, Commander Fox approached the scene on an Imperial patrol ship and realized they were firing on Vader. He then had his ship fly over to Vader and ordered his units to a ceasefire. Vader jumped onto the ship and Fox tried to explain the misunderstanding. He used the Force to break his neck. The clones on the ground continued firing on JOCASTA Nu and managed to disarm her. She then found herself cornered by Vader and the clones, and she attempted to jump off, only for Vader to use the Force to catch her. He brought her to his ship, and there she told the clones that it was the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker. Vader used the Force to throw the clones off the ship, and when Nu asked what would become of her, he killed her. Vader then crashed the ship and contacted Sidious, telling him that JOCASTA Nu died in an attempt to escape. With Nu having revealed Sidious would create more dark-side agents, with the list and questioning what it was that Vader truly wanted before her death. Vader then crushed the list of Force-sensitive children that she had with her. Vader then followed his master to the Works district on Coruscant, where the two prepared for a sparring match in which Sidious intended to teach him a lesson. Sidious ignited one of his lightsabers and told Vader to fight him, to which Vader ignited his own saber before his master charged against him. As the blades of the two Sith clashed, Vader was quickly outpowered by Sidious, who knocked the saber out of his hand and later pushed him away with the Force. As Vader was on the ground, his saber was grabbed by Sidious, while he told him that he still fought like a Jedi. His master told him that the lightsaber was not his only weapon, and that the dark side of the Force was his true weapon, a weapon that touches everything. Vader was then hit by multiple pieces of wreckage that Sidious lifted with the Force, while he told him that his lightsaber was merely a symbol of the inferno that consumed all who came against the dark side. On his knees, Vader told his master that he understood his lesson. Believing that he lost all he cared for by his own hand, Darth Vader embraced his role as the Emperor's chief enforcer. Few knew who he was, and even fewer suspected that he had once been Anakin Skywalker. Some rumors started to circulate that Vader was a counterpart to the late separatist warlord General Grievous, whom Palpatine held in reserve, while others speculated that it was a technologically modified warrior trained in the now forbidden arts of the Force. His appearance at the Imperial court and the favor he carried from the Emperor earned him the distrust of Imperial officers. They resented him for appearing out of nowhere and having authority over them because of his link to his master. They also resented his heavy-handed treatment of them, such as when he used the Force in the presence of his master to choke Colonel Borowki. In secret, he and other Imperial officers plotted to assassinate Vader, whose position in the new empire they did not understand. For Vader, the situation came to a head when he investigated a Jedi sighting on Cabaria. Accompanied by the Ninth Sister, he headed to the bar, where the identification had happened. Although the Ninth Sister had originally been planning to investigate alone, Vader had come, claiming she was not yet ready to face a Jedi in combat, but secretly because he wanted to fight another Jedi. The Ninth Sister commented on his true desire, using her empathetic abilities to read him clearly. As a result, Vader ordered her to remain outside while he investigated. Once inside, the Dark Lord was attacked by a family of bounty hunters consisting of Mbada Ramat and their 12-year-old daughter, Chanith Cha. Using ion grenades, they neutralized all the weapons in the bar, while Chanith tried to seize Vader's lightsaber with a tractor rifle. However, he used the Force to seize the lightsaber midair, and under the strain of the two opposing forces, the hilt shattered, leaving only the red kyber crystal. The Chas told the assembled customers that they had come for the Jedi, and that they were not planning on harming anyone. However, a disarmed Vader disagreed, and used the Force to turn the customers into projectiles aimed at the Chas. Taken by surprise, the bounty hunters turned on their shields to protect themselves. As they attacked him, Vader also used the customers and the bar's furniture as shields. Eventually, the hunters realized they could not defeat him and tried to flee. Reclaiming his crystal with the Force, Vader pursued them. Emerging from the bar, Vader initially suspected that the Inquisitors had been behind the attempt on his life and threatened the Ninth Sister with her own lightsaber. The Inquisitor's denial did not sway the Dark Lord, but neither did it prove her guilt. Determined to find who had placed a bounty on his head, he persuaded the Chas. They eluded him for a time until he crashed a massive vehicle into their path, causing their speeder to crash. Seizing Chanath in a Force choke, he commanded they tell him who ordered his death. Understanding they and their daughter were at risk, they told him about an anonymous bounty hunter with an exorbitant price posted on the HunterNet. Ramit Shah, a talented slicer, offered to uncover their employer for him in exchange for their daughter's life. When they demanded that he release Chanath first, Vader refused. However, the Chas refused to work if their daughter was killed, further declaring that they would happily die as well to exist in death with her. Grudgingly impressed, the Dark Lord demanded proof that Ramat could deliver her side of the deal, which she proved by tracking the signal of the bounty hunter back to Coruscant. Vader released Chanath as agreed, at which point the bounty hunters made their daughter swear that she would seek no vengeance against the Dark Lord. A deal Vader chose to honor. To complete the deal, Ramat provided Vader with the information he had requested, and gave him the source of the bounty on him, the Imperial Executive Building on Coruscant, specifically the Emperor's office. Vader then killed both Chaw parents right in front of their daughter, who was filled with rage. Despite her oath to not hold a grudge, she ignored her promise and spent her entire life hunting the Dark Lord in revenge. Eventually, as the years passed on, the Sith Lord himself simply forgot the murders he carried out on Kabaria. Chaw, however, never forgot, and became a skilled bounty hunter, studying every report she could and speaking to anyone she could find who had witnessed Vader in battle. She trained herself to counter Vader's abilities, eventually enlisting a team of fellow hunters as the Orphans to help her in her quest. Chaw's skills rose to a level that Palpatine even took notice of, becoming a bounty hunter the Emperor could trust, all in the name of possibly getting close to Vader, only to never see him. In effect, Vader had completely upended Chaw's life, only for the crusade her life turned into to not impact Vader at all. So what do you guys think of this comic run? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.